You wake up standing in a room lit with bright fluorescent lights. Your vision starts to clear, and in the first moment, you see a computer on a desk in front of you and a flurry of activity around you. The second moment, as you clear your eyes, you realize that you're being assaulted with sounds. The phone is ringing. People are talking. People are yelling. There's music playing, and the sound of tiny, hard objects being poured onto a plastic surface. Your eyes finish clearing, and you're surrounded by counters. Counters in front of you, counters behind you, counters in front of counters, counters behind counters. There are people beyond the outer counters, droves of people. They're staring at you. Some of them look bored, some of them look angry. They're all waiting on you. Why are they staring at you? The phone is ringing. Hey! You snap out of your daze and look around. There's a woman standing across an inner counter.
Will you please check these? They're waiting.
She gestures to a stack of baskets about 3 feet tall.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Sorry.
You offer feebly. You're confused, but you take the first basket off the top. It's full of small orange vials with labels and barcodes on them. You see a barcode scanner at the computer in front of you. You scan one of the vials. The screen lights up and says this patient has an allergy to diclofenac. You stare at the screen wondering what that means. The phone is ringing.
Can you get the drive-through?
The woman is standing at a distant counter now with one of the staring people in front of her and with a phone to one ear. You turn around and to your surprise you see a window behind you with a woman in a van staring at you. You walk over and open the window.
Can I help you?
Yeah, I'm here to pick up for John Smith, and can I get a gallon of milk?
You're picking up?
Yes, for John Smith. I'm in a hurry. Could you pay attention?
She glares. There's a line of cars behind her van.
Oh, yeah, sorry.
You turn around, wondering what she might be picking up, scanning the room for milk? The phone is ringing. Your heart starts to pound now. The people across the outer counter are visibly irate with you, but you still don't know why. They're starting to mill around and shift side to side like they're considering attacking you. The phone is still ringing. You see large bins filled with white bags with little names on them. This must be what the woman in the van is picking up, but you still don't see milk anywhere within your counters. You start to sweat as you frantically paw through the closest bin looking for John Smith.
Can you get the other line, please?
The woman at the other counter has 4 angry people in front of her now and still on the phone. You stop handling white bags and grab the closest phone out of what sounds like 13 phones ringing simultaneously.
Hello? I've been on hold for 12 minutes. You are the most incompetent idiot I've ever heard of. Put your manager on. Sorry, I don't know who...
Click. He hung up. The phone is still ringing with 4 more lines flashing. You start panting as you look at the tower of baskets next to your computer, the gathering angry mob just beyond the outer counter, the angry glances from the woman next to you. Honk!
I said I'm in a hurry. Where's my milk?
The woman in the van screams. Full panic sets in and you cover your ears. Where is the exit? The phone is ringing. You clench your eyes tight. You're going to throw up. The phone is ringing. You wonder, am I in hell? No, you're in a pharmacy. Hello, welcome back to another episode of Pharmacy for the People. My name is James, I'm a licensed practicing pharmacist, and today we're going to talk about what goes on behind all those counters at your community pharmacy. That was a rather dramatic moment in a pharmacy, but rest assured, that is a fairly common occurrence in community pharmacy, especially big chain pharmacies. What isn't realistic is that the pharmacist obviously isn't just waking up, and much to their chagrin, they do know what they are doing. Depending on the pharmacy, it's not uncommon for your favorite pharmacist to work 13 plus hours a day, fill over 1,000 prescriptions with only 1, maybe 2 technicians backing them up, no lunch, barely a bathroom break, endless phone calls, long lines of angry customers. So why do they do it? They do it because they care. Day after day, they show up because legitimately helping somebody, putting a smile or relief on somebody's face is immensely fulfilling. You might catch them in bad moods or varying levels of fatigue, but please be patient with them because I guarantee that they actually want to help you. So how does all this work? What's going on behind all those counters? Who's back there? Behind the counter, you've got pharmacists and you have technicians. And occasionally you might have a cashier. Generally, it's just the pharmacists and the technicians. Technicians are the nurses of the pharmacy, if you will. They do all the supporting work around getting a prescription together so the pharmacist can focus on ensuring the safety and efficacy of the prescription and also educating the patients. A pharmacist cannot do their jobs without the help of amazing pharmacy technicians. So shout out to all of my pharmacy techs out there. Thank you for what you do. We can't do it without you. But let me break down the process for you. What's going on behind the counter? Let's start at the top as if you're bringing a prescription to your pharmacy. Step number 1. You bring the prescription to the technician. The technician takes your prescription and they look you up in their system. If you've never been there before, then they're going to need some information from you. Probably a lot of information. They need to know your name, your birthday, and your address for identification purposes. Believe it or not, even if your name isn't John Smith, there is probably somebody else in your area code going to that pharmacy that has your same name. So don't assume. Have your birthday and have your address ready. They're going to need your phone number, mainly just so they can get in touch with you if something goes wrong or if they need to communicate with you. They're going to need to know your allergy information to make sure that you don't have allergies to the medication that you've been prescribed. They're going to need your medication insurance information too. Bring your card with you. Don't leave it in your car. Bring it with you. They'll send the claim for the prescription to your insurance that moment, and the insurance will send them back a price. Medication insurance deserves a video for itself. It's a big process. There's a lot going on, and it's easily one of the stickiest parts of your visit to any pharmacy. Okay, so step 2, assuming everything went well when you handed the technician your prescription, now they have an electronic version of your prescription. The technician will then take that, go to all those tall shelves with medications on it, pull the medications that they need, count it out, put it in those little amber vials, slap a label on it, as people like to say, and then set that up for the pharmacist to check. Now, usually that's the easy part in this whole process. The only time something might go wrong is if they don't have it in stock for one reason or another. Either somebody made a mistake and they forgot to order something that they normally have on the shelf, or it's a specialty medication that they don't normally stock, it's very expensive, or perhaps it's on back order. That's a constant struggle in every pharmacy. Can the manufacturer produce enough to keep up with the demand? I should note here that if your prescription is for a rare or expensive medication, not that you would know, but it's probably not hanging out on the shelf there in the pharmacy. They might have to order it, and typically they can get it by the next day. Step 3. Once the technician hands your little vial and the prescription to the pharmacist is going to take what the technician has done and check it against the prescription. They're going to check the medication, the strength, the quantity, the frequency, the dosage form. Is it a capsule or a tablet or a liquid? They're going to check that against your other medications to make sure that there's no interactions between medications. And they're also going to check it against your allergies. If nothing's wrong with it, then they put their little signature on it and you're done. But just like every other step, it's not that easy. Let me put a plug in here and say that in the United States, we do not have a unified medical record. What that means is that no single pharmacy that you go to has all of your records from all of your medications. So if for some reason you have the need to go to more than one physician, say you have a primary care physician and you also go to see a nephrologist, somebody who helps with your kidneys. You also go to see a cardiologist who goes to help with your heart. So you've got 3 different physicians that are all writing prescriptions. Now, they don't necessarily know, the nephrologist doesn't necessarily know what the cardiologist has written a prescription for or his plan. So if you're going to 5 or 7 or 12 different doctors and they're all writing different prescriptions and you're taking those to different pharmacies, unless all of your pharmacies are in the same system, say like all one single chain, or all one pharmacy, they're not going to have record of what you have filled elsewhere. So because not all medications are safe to be taken together, it's really important that all of your prescriptions are in one place. I'm not advocating that you give your business all to one particular pharmacy for the sake of that pharmacy. I'm also not advocating for going to a chain versus an independent pharmacy. I'm advocating for your safety. Make sure that the pharmacist who fills your prescriptions knows the prescriptions that you're filling from everywhere. I have strong opinions on chain pharmacies versus independent pharmacies and the way that chain pharmacies treat their employees. Suffice it to say here that it's not by the pharmacist's design that they work long, overwhelming hours. It's also here in step 3 that if there is something wrong with the prescription, the pharmacist has to address it. Say the prescription was written but never signed. The prescription constitutes a legal document. If your physician has not signed it, either electronically or physically, it's not valid. If there is an interaction, if the medication dosage is not a safe dosage. So if any of these issues arise while the pharmacist is checking the prescription, the pharmacist then has to call the physician's office and try to get some clarification. The physician can give the pharmacist a verbal order over the phone to make a change, but legally, the pharmacist cannot make that change without getting an order from the physician. And if you've ever tried to call your physician's office, you know that's not a breeze. Pharmacists don't have a magic button to push to get through really quickly. We still have to just wait like you do. So in step 4, the prescription has been checked. It's valid. They now bag it up and they put it on one of those shelves with all the other prescriptions with your name on it. And there it will wait for you patiently until you come and pick it up. Typically, after about 2 weeks, if you haven't come and picked it up, the pharmacy will take it and put it back on the shelf. They'll mark your name off of it, and that medication will be available for someone else to have in their prescription. As long as the medication stays within the pharmacy, it can be used for somebody else's prescription. But as soon as it leaves the pharmacy, those medications can no longer be used again. The reason being is that the pharmacist cannot, with his eyeballs, look at those medications, the capsules, the tablets, whatever, and verify that they have not been adulterated somehow. That sounds like strong language, but the reality is that people do despicable things. And there are case reports and instances where people come into a pharmacy and they change medication that's on the shelf. So, you know those little wrappers that are on medication bottles that you bring home? The little wrappers on there that say, if this seal is broken, do not use. The reason those were invented was because people were coming into pharmacies and for some reason changing out the medication that was in there. Either doing something to it to make it toxic, taking something from it to make it inactive, or just switching it out for something entirely. So let me just put in a plug that if you see that wrapper that says do not use if the seal is broken, if you see that that is broken, don't use it. Just point it out to the pharmacist or somebody else who's there and they'll get rid of it. It's not safe. If a medication is still there on the shelf for 2 weeks, they can put it back in circulation and use it because it has not left the pharmacy. It's still safe at that point. So all in all, the whole process from you bringing in the prescription, them typing it up, putting the medication in a bottle, the pharmacist checking it, bagging it, and then being rung up can be done in about 10 minutes. But it's never that easy. There's a chance for error or problem to happen in every single one of those steps, like I mentioned. And I didn't talk about the fact that the technician might have gotten pulled away 8 times while trying to fill your prescription to ring somebody else up, to get the phone that won't stop ringing, to bring somebody else's prescription in and type that one in. It's a multitasking world back there, and when you've got 9 different places where customers might be coming all at the same time, those 3 people have a lot to do and a lot of hands to touch. So you remember back in the intro with all those phones ringing and the people staring at you, that was legitimate. People will stare at you across that counter and just bear down on you with their souls. It's very uncomfortable. But a well-staffed pharmacy can get a whole lot done in a really short amount of time. A poorly staffed pharmacy is like a race car stuck in first gear. You're burning up your engine, but you're not going anywhere. So if you find yourself in the situation where you're standing in line waiting for your prescription and you've been waiting and waiting and waiting and you see those guys behind the counter doing things, please be patient. I guarantee those people are stressed. If they're not stressed, then you're probably not waiting. But you're probably waiting and they're probably very stressed, so please be patient. With all that said, let me now address some common issues that people face in the pharmacy.
This will be fun.